This is my review of My Hero Academia. Okay, so the press sucks. I'm just gonna go out and say it right now. The press sucks. So in this episode, it starts off with a class election of who the class president is gonna be, and naturally everybody volunteers until Iida decides to put it to a vote, and Deku is nominated along with the other girl whose name I don't know. Not like Ochako or somebody else, like the one girl who knew like everything in that one episode. I don't remember anybody's names. But anyway, meanwhile, as they're doing that, and as Midoriya is trying to come to grips with the whole trying to figure out how to be a class representative thing, and after finding out that Iida, who has been kind of hinting toward him being kind of a richer family, actually does reveal that yes, he is from a richer family, and that his older brother is big time hero, and then he inspires to be just like him one day. To which Deku and Ochako both admire him for. And then meanwhile, throughout this entire first half of the episode, there's an incident with the press where they start harassing students and teachers alike, and accidentally set off the security system, which is what they call the wall, because essentially what happens is a bunch of big iron walls stick up and nobody can get in or out of the school while it's active, and it only activates when somebody who doesn't have a student's pass or a visitor's pass enters the school without permission. So the problem with this is that it blocks the press out, and then we see the guy from the last episode is standing in the background. We don't know who he is yet or what he does, but we can infer a little bit later, because as is revealed, he actually did dissolve the main entrance wall, and the press broke in, and Aizawa and President Mike actually tried to defuse the situation by trying to hold them off, because they shouldn't be there. They broke in, technically speaking. And then the police do eventually arrive, but not before massive panic ensues inside the building, with all the students running for the exit. And it's eventually Iida who decides to use Ochako's power to basically elevate himself and defuse the situation, and warn them and tell them exactly what happened, and tells them that they should be on their best behavior while the press is here, and that they should be in a position that's warranting of the best, which they are. And then the police show up and have them arrested, and Midoriya, realizing that Iida would be a much better fit for being class representative, steps down and nominates Iida in his stead. So Iida is now class president, and then the other girl's vice president. And then we also get a shot of All Might going through the city, doing crime, and also exposition dumping a little bit about how he hasn't been able to use his powers as effectively since he not only pushed himself, but also transferred his work to Deku, which means that he can now spend less time in his hero form because he pushed himself that one time. And he's also getting slower because his powers are slowly draining. So, yeah, that's probably a downside to giving Deku his quirk, is that he can't use it as frequently, and that we knew that already. It's slowly draining and getting weaker and weaker as Deku gets stronger and stronger, and he's able to use it more effectively. But as a result, he's unable to come to his hero training class on time, and is unable to actually make it because he exhausted himself and has to rebuild his strength and power. So instead, Shoto Aizawa and the astronaut hero 13, they both team up. They both decide to hold the class together, and they all get on a bus, and Iida tries to set it up as a double file line until he realizes what kind of bus it is, and it's like a bus with an open center, so people just walk through and sit on the bus. kind of like okay, the chairs are on the walls of the bus, meaning instead of in columns like they normally are. So basically nobody else was able to actually do what Iida wanted because it ultimately didn't matter, because there was no reason for a double file line. And we also get some shots of the students interacting with one another, which is kind of cool, kind of amazing. And then they actually arrive, and then they actually find out that All Might's unable to make it, and then they explain exactly why sometimes quirks can be dangerous, because he points out that, because 13 actually points out that quirks are actually kind of too powerful if you don't regulate them correctly, and then you could accidentally kill a dude. And demonstrates this by stating that his ability Black Hole can suck things in and vaporize them and turn them to dust, but if he's not careful, he could kill a person with it. And then as they're giving that explanation and are at the training facility and are about to do a thing, all the villains that we know of suddenly show up, including the blue-haired guy, whose name I still don't know because he hasn't told anybody yet. But yeah, he shows up with a bunch of other villains, and everybody freaks out when they realize it's villains, but they remain calm and hold their ground while the villain just waltz in through a giant portal in the middle of the room. So yeah, that's bad, obviously, but it does have some impact on the story. For example, Iida is now a class representative, and he's trying his best to do it, even though he hasn't had an opportunity to do it yet. I mean, he defused the situation with the hallways, but other than that, he hasn't had an opportunity to use it yet because of the whole, well, the bus problem. But yeah, the villains showing up means we knew there were villains in the story. We've seen some of them already, like the sludge villain, whose powers still don't have a named quirk for. Then the shark dude, because reasons. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting seeing villains in the story now, because for the most part we focused on the heroes, and we knew there were some villains, but to actually have the villains show up and try to attack the school is not good. So yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can say to that other than that this is going to get interesting really fast. And All Might's kind of out of commission, so I'm interested to see how this is going to go. So if you guys have seen this episode of My Hero Academia, what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, hit that like and the subscribe button. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below, and also check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month. It helps me out, and it gives you guys access to a bunch of different perks and stuff like that. For example, it'll give you a channel shout out if people are trying out. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Hi, Spider Cupcake. Yeah, there was no way I was gonna make it through this without the Timmy armor. I don't know if I'll cut that out or not. They're still alive.